Marcus Thompson signs the marriage certificate with a gold pen worth more than most cars. The bride beside him weighs twice what his usual dates do, her simple white dress contrasting sharply with his $1,000 suit. Champagne bubbles rise in crystal glasses around the courthouse steps. His phone buzzes with a text from his best friend. $1 million if you stay married 1 full year. The countdown starts now. 365 days to collect or lose everything. Before we begin, tell me where you're listening from and tap subscribe so you never miss a story.
Marcus adjusts his platinum cufflinks as he studies his new wife across the courthouse lobby. Sarah Miller stands near the window, afternoon sunlight catching the nervous sweat on her forehead. Her bouquet of grocery store daisies trembles in her hands. "So, Mrs. Thompson," Marcus says, the title feeling foreign on his tongue. "Ready to see your new home?" "I still can't believe this is real," Sarah whispers. "Trust me, neither can I." The marble floors echo with each step as they walk toward the exit. Sarah's simple flats make soft shuffling sounds beside his Italian leather shoes. Her wedding dress came from a discount store. His tuxedo cost more than her monthly rent. "Your friends seemed surprised at the wedding?" Sarah says quietly. Marcus thinks of James Carter's shocked face when he announced the engagement 3 weeks ago. His poker buddies had laughed until they realized he was serious. Then came the bet, $1 million, to stay married to Sarah for exactly 1 year. "They're just protective," Marcus lies smoothly. Sarah nods, but doubt flickers across her round face. Her fingers twist the simple gold band he bought at the mall, not his usual jewelry store. Nothing about the situation fits his usual anything. "Will they accept me?" she asks. Marcus opens the courthouse door, not answering immediately. The memory of that poker night 3 weeks ago burns in Marcus's mind as his Bentley purrs through downtown traffic. James Carter had just won a massive hand when Marcus mentioned feeling restless with his dating life. The conversation spiraled quickly. "You always go for the same type," James had said, shuffling cards with practiced ease. "What if you tried something different?" "Like what?" "Like someone who wouldn't normally catch your eye. Someone real." The other players joined in, their voices thick with expensive whiskey. The challenge escalated into a bet. Find someone completely outside his usual preferences. Marry her, stay married 1 full year, win $1 million from the group pot. Marcus had accepted without thinking it through. Now, Sarah sits beside him, her seatbelt straining across her chest. She stares out the window at the expensive neighborhood they're entering. Her reflection shows wide eyes and parted lips. "This is where you live?" she asks. "Where we live now?" Marcus corrects. "The moving truck should arrive with your things tomorrow." Sarah's belongings fit in 12 boxes. His garage contains 4 cars worth more than her entire apartment. The deadline ticks in his head like a bomb. 364 days remaining. The mansion's front door swings open to reveal Marcus's pristine foyer. Crystal chandeliers cast rainbow patterns across white marble floors. Sarah's footsteps slow as she takes in the sweeping staircase and oil paintings worth small fortunes. "It's like a museum," she breathes. "The staff has the weekend off. I thought we should settle in privately." "Staff? You have staff?" Marcus loosens his tie, suddenly feeling overdressed in his own home. Housekeeper comes twice weekly. Groundskeeper maintains the exterior. Chef prepares meals when I entertain. Sarah sets her purse on an antique table, then quickly picks it up again. "Should I not touch things?" "It's your home now, too, Sarah. Touch whatever you want." But even as he says it, Marcus realizes how hollow the words sound. This arrangement has an expiration date. Sarah doesn't know about the bet. She believes this is real love, not a calculated financial transaction. "Would you like to see the master bedroom?" Sarah's cheeks flush pink. "Actually, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Could I have a few minutes alone?" Of course. I'll be in my office if you need anything. Sarah nods gratefully, but her hands shake as she explores the living room. Each step she takes echoes through the vast space like a heartbeat in an empty chest. Marcus's home office overlooks the manicured gardens through floor-to-ceiling windows. He pours 2 fingers of bourbon while reviewing the marriage contract his lawyer prepared. The document protects his assets completely. Sarah signed without reading the fine print. His phone buzzes with a text from James. "How's married life treating you, old friend?" Marcus types back. "Early days. Ask me in a year." 1 million says you won't make it 6 months. The response stings more than Marcus expects. He deletes several angry replies before settling on, "We'll see." Through his office door, he can hear Sarah moving around the house. Cabinet doors open and close in the kitchen. Her footsteps climb the stairs slowly, like she's afraid of making noise. The grandfather clock in the hallway chimes 6 p.m. "Marcus?" Sarah's voice carries down the hall. "Should I start dinner?" "Don't worry about cooking tonight. We'll order something." But the question reveals the gulf between their worlds. Sarah thinks about practical things like meals and household tasks. Marcus thinks about stock portfolios and business acquisitions, and secret bets that could destroy whatever fragile trust they're building. His computer screen shows the bank account where the $1 million prize will be deposited, if he survives 12 months of this charade. If Sarah never discovers the truth. The front doorbell chimes, cutting through his thoughts like a blade.
James Carter stands in the doorway wearing a smirk and an expensive suit. His silver hair gleams under the porch lights, and his predatory smile makes Marcus's stomach clench. Behind him, 2 other poker buddies lean against a black Mercedes. "Surprise visit from the wedding party," James announces loudly. "We weren't expecting company," Marcus says, blocking the entrance. "Come on, old friend, we want to meet the new Mrs. Thompson properly." Sarah appears behind Marcus, smoothing her simple skirt nervously. She's changed from her wedding dress into clothes that make her look even more out of place in the mansion's grandeur. "Gentlemen, this is my wife Sarah," Marcus says reluctantly. "Charming." James extends his hand with theatrical courtesy. "Absolutely charming." Sarah shakes his hand politely. "It's nice to meet Marcus's friends." "Oh, we're much more than friends. We're business partners." James' eyes glitter with mischief. "Isn't that right, Marcus?" The other men chuckle knowingly. Marcus feels sweat forming between his shoulder blades. James is here to cause trouble, to test the boundaries of their arrangement. "Perhaps we should continue this conversation in private," Marcus suggests. "Nonsense! Sarah should hear about our little venture." Sarah looks between the men, confusion clouding her features. The tension in the foyer grows thick as molasses. The living room feels smaller with 4 men and Sarah arranged around the leather furniture. James settles into Marcus's favorite chair like he owns it. His companions flank him on the sofa, while Sarah perches nervously on the edge of a cushion. "Tell us, Sarah," James begins conversationally, "how did you and Marcus meet?" "Online. A dating app." "Fascinating. And what attracted you to our Marcus here?" Sarah's cheeks redden. "He seemed genuine in his messages, kind." The other men exchange glances that make Marcus's jaw tighten. He knows exactly where James is heading with this interrogation. "And Marcus, what drew you to Sarah?" James continues. "Her authenticity," Marcus says carefully. "She's refreshingly real." "Real, indeed. So different from your usual type." Sarah's head turns toward Marcus, questions forming in her eyes. She's starting to sense the undercurrents of mockery flowing through the conversation. "Gentlemen, perhaps we should discuss business matters privately," Marcus tries again. "Oh, but this is business, isn't it?" James leans forward. "Very personal business." Sarah stands abruptly, her hands clasped tightly. "I should let you men talk. I'll be in the kitchen." As she leaves, James's laughter follows her like poison in the air.
The kitchen island provides a barrier between Sarah and the men's voices drifting from the living room. She opens cabinets randomly, pretending to familiarize herself with the space while straining to hear the conversation. Their words carry clearly through the open doorway. "She seems sweet," one of the men says. "Sweet enough to last 12 months?" James replies. "That depends on Marcus's acting skills." Sarah's hands freeze on a cabinet handle. 12 months? Acting skills? The phrases loop through her mind like a broken record. "The bet was your idea, James," Marcus's voice sounds strained. "And you accepted enthusiastically. $1 million for 1 year of marriage." The words hit Sarah like physical blows. Her knees buckle, and she grabs the marble countertop for support. A marriage bet. $1 million? 12 months of pretending? "Keep your voice down," Marcus hisses. "Why? She seems naive enough to believe anything." Sarah's vision blurs as the full scope of her humiliation becomes clear. The quick courtship, the sudden proposal, the rushed wedding. None of it was real. She was never anything more than a pawn in some wealthy man's game. "I should check on Sarah," Marcus says. Footsteps approach the kitchen door. Sarah quickly turns toward the refrigerator, pretending to examine its contents. Marcus enters the kitchen to find Sarah staring into the open refrigerator like it contains the secrets of the universe. Her shoulders shake slightly, but she doesn't turn around when he approaches. "Sarah, everything okay?" "Fine," she whispers without moving. "Just looking at our dinner options. The guys are leaving soon. James can be overwhelming when he's had a few drinks." Sarah finally closes the refrigerator and faces him. Tears streak down her cheeks, but her expression shows more hurt than anger. The sight cuts through Marcus like a knife he didn't see coming. "How long were you going to pretend?" she asks quietly. Marcus's stomach drops to his shoes. "Sarah, 1 year, right? That's what your friend said. $1 million for 1 year. The kitchen fills with silence, so heavy it presses against Marcus's chest. Sarah's eyes search his face for denial, for some explanation that makes this nightmare untrue. "You heard that conversation," he says finally. "Every word. I'm the bet, aren't I? The fat girl nobody would marry except for money? Sarah, it's not that simple." "It's exactly that simple." Her voice grows stronger despite the tears. "I'm going upstairs to pack." She walks past him toward the kitchen door, her dignity intact, despite everything crumbling around her.
Marcus follows Sarah up the marble staircase, his footsteps echoing behind her slower ones. She doesn't look back as she climbs toward the master bedroom. Her small suitcase sits open on the king-sized bed, where she left it hours earlier. "Please let me explain," Marcus says from the doorway. "What's to explain?" Sarah folds her wedding dress carefully. "You needed a wife for a year. I needed to believe someone could love me." "Sarah, don't say my name like that, like you care." She moves methodically around the room, gathering her few belongings. Her movements are precise, controlled. No dramatic gestures or thrown objects. Just quiet devastation that somehow hurts worse than screaming. "Where will you go?" Marcus asks. "Back to my apartment, if the landlord hasn't rented it yet. You gave notice when we got married." Sarah's hands pause on her clothes. "Then I'll find somewhere else. Hotels exist." Marcus steps into the room, his Italian shoes silent on the Persian rug. "You don't have to leave tonight. We can figure this out." "Figure what out? How to split $1 million?" Her bitter laugh cuts through the air like breaking glass. Marcus realizes he's never heard Sarah sound cynical before. The change transforms her face into something harder. "Keep your money, Marcus. I won't be part of this anymore." The guest bathroom provides Sarah a moment of privacy to splash cold water on her swollen face. Her reflection in the mirror shows a woman she barely recognizes. The hopeful bride from this morning has vanished, replaced by someone who finally understands her place in the world. "You're so stupid," she whispers to her reflection. The bathroom door muffles Marcus's voice outside as he paces the hallway. His footsteps move back and forth like a caged animal. Occasionally, his phone rings, but he doesn't answer. "Sarah, please come out. We need to talk about this." "No, we don't," she calls back. "Yes, we do. This affects both of us." Sarah opens the door and finds Marcus leaning against the opposite wall. His perfect hair is disheveled from running his hands through it. His expensive shirt is wrinkled. "How does this affect you?" "You lose a bet, I lose my dignity." "It's more complicated than that." "Then simplify it for me." Marcus straightens, squaring his shoulders. "The bet was my friend's idea, but I chose you specifically because I was pathetic enough to say yes, because you were kind to the waitress when we met for coffee, because you laughed at my terrible jokes, because you seemed genuine." She studies his face for signs of deception. "Those are pretty words, Marcus, but they don't change the fact that this marriage is a financial transaction." His phone buzzes again. This time he answers it. Marcus's conversation with James Carter plays out in the hallway while Sarah listens from inside the bedroom. She can hear both sides through Marcus's phone speaker, apparently activated by accident. "How's the happy couple?" James's voice drips with amusement. "We're working through some issues," Marcus says carefully. "Don't tell me she found out about the bet already." "James, this isn't the time." "Oh, she did find out. This is priceless." James's laughter carries clearly. "What's she going to do? Demand half the prize money?" Sarah's hands clench into fists. The casual cruelty in James's voice ignites something fierce in her chest. She's tired of being treated like a joke. "She's not asking for money," Marcus says quietly. "Then what's the problem? Keep her happy for 11 more months. "The problem is that she's a human being, James, with feelings." "Since when do you care about feelings?" The question hangs in the air. Sarah steps closer to the door, waiting for Marcus's answer. His response will determine whether she leaves tonight or gives him one chance to prove he's different from his friends. "Since I started getting to know her," Marcus says finally. "Don't go soft on me now, Thompson. $1 million, remember?" Marcus ends the call abruptly. The hallway falls silent except for the grandfather clock chiming downstairs. Sarah opens the bedroom door to find Marcus sitting on the floor with his back against the wall. His expensive suit is rumpled, his tie hanging loose around his neck. He looks up when she appears, hope flickering across his features. "I heard your conversation with James. I'm sorry you had to hear that." "Are you? Or are you just sorry I found out?" Marcus climbs to his feet, brushing dust from his trousers. "I'm sorry for all of it. The bet, the deception, the way my friends talked about you. But not sorry enough to call it off. The contracts are already signed. If I back out now, I owe them $2 million. Sarah feels something shift inside her chest. A spark of possibility she thought was extinguished. "So you're trapped, too. Completely trapped." She studies his face in the dim hallway light. For the first time since the courthouse, Marcus looks vulnerable, human. The polished exterior has cracked enough to show something real underneath. 1 year, she says slowly. 1 year. And after that we go our separate ways. Marcus nods. "If that's what you want." She extends her hand like they're meeting for the first time. "Business partners, then. Nothing more." Marcus shakes her hand, his palm warm against hers. "Business partners." But neither of them lets go immediately, and something unspoken passes between them in the darkness. 3 months later, Sarah stands in the mansion's kitchen preparing breakfast while Marcus reads financial reports at the Marble Island. They've developed a comfortable routine of polite distance and careful conversations. The smell of fresh coffee mingles with bacon grease. "Your friend James called last night," Sarah says, flipping pancakes with practiced ease. "What did he want?" "To check on our progress. He seemed disappointed that we're getting along." Marcus looks up from his papers. Sarah has changed during their months together. She's lost some weight, but more importantly, she carries herself differently. Confidence has replaced the nervous energy she showed on their wedding day. "James thrives on other people's misery," Marcus says. "Is that why you're friends with him?" The question catches Marcus off guard. He's never really considered why he tolerates James's toxic behavior. Habit, mostly, and the social connections that come with running in elite circles. We're not friends, Marcus realizes as he says it. We're just familiar. Sarah slides a plate of pancakes across the island. Their fingers brush briefly during the exchange. The contact sends warmth up Marcus's arm that has nothing to do with the hot plate. 9 months left, Sarah says quietly. 9 months. But neither of them sound particularly eager about the approaching deadline. The charity gala buzzes with conversation and clinking crystal as Marcus and Sarah make their entrance. Sarah wears a simple black dress that flatters her changing figure, while Marcus sports his usual tuxedo armor. They've attended several events together, learning to play the part of a happy couple. "Remember, we're madly in love," Marcus whispers as they approach the receiving line. "Of course, darling." Sarah replies with a smile that looks genuine, but as the evening progresses, Marcus notices something troubling. Sarah laughs at his jokes without pretending. She touches his arm naturally during conversations, and when she looks at him, her eyes show warmth instead of the careful distance they've maintained at home. "You're staring," Sarah murmurs during a quiet moment. "Just admiring my beautiful wife." The words slip out before Marcus can stop them. They sound less like performance and more like truth. Sarah's cheeks flush pink in the ballroom lighting. "Don't," she says softly. "Don't what?" "Don't make this harder than it already is." Marcus realizes he's been leaning closer to her, drawn by some invisible force. Around them, couples sway to orchestra music, lost in their own private worlds. Sarah, "Mr. Thompson, could I have a word?" Marcus turns to find James Carter approaching with 2 other men in expensive suits. The mansion's library feels smaller with James and his companions occupying the leather chairs. Sarah serves coffee with steady hands while the men discuss business matters she's not supposed to understand. But 6 months of living with Marcus has taught her to read between the lines. "The Asian markets are fluctuating wildly," one man says. "Perfect time to buy," James responds. "Marcus, you should liquidate some assets and jump in." "I'm comfortable with my current portfolio," Marcus replies carefully. "Come now, where's your gambling spirit? You used to take bigger risks." James's eyes drift meaningfully towards Sarah, who pretends not to notice while arranging cookies on a silver tray. The implication hangs heavy in the air. "Some risks aren't worth taking," Marcus replies firmly. "Even for massive returns?" "Even then." Sarah feels the shift in the room's energy. Marcus is defending something, though she's not entirely sure what. The conversation continues around topics she recognizes from Marcus's financial reports. Investments, acquisitions, market timing. "You've changed, old friend," James observes. "Marriage has made you cautious. Marriage has given me perspective." Sarah's hands pause on the coffee service. The word perspective carries weight she doesn't fully understand. "Well, 6 more months should cure that," James says with a laugh. The deadline hits Sarah like a physical blow, reminding her that this is still temporary. The grandfather clock chimes midnight as Sarah cleans the library after the guests' departure. Marcus helps by carrying empty glasses to the kitchen, an unusual gesture that doesn't go unnoticed. "You didn't have to defend me to James," Sarah says. "I wasn't defending you. I was defending us." The word us stops Sarah mid-motion. She sets down the silver tray and faces Marcus directly. "There is no us, remember. This is a business arrangement." "Is it? Still?" The question hangs between them like a bridge neither dares to cross. 6 months of shared meals and comfortable silences have blurred the lines they drew so carefully. "Marcus, don't do this." "Don't what? Feel something real for once in my life?" Sarah's eyes fill with tears she's been holding back for weeks. "Don't make me hope again. I can't survive that twice." "Then don't hope. Just stay." "Stay for what? Another bet? Another game?" Marcus steps closer, close enough that Sarah can smell his cologne and see the gold flecks in his brown eyes. "Stay because I'm falling in love with you." The confession hits the library like thunder. Sarah's breath catches in her throat. "You have 3 hours to pack. I'm calling a lawyer in the morning." She turns and walks away, leaving Marcus alone with his words echoing in the empty room. Marcus finds Sarah in the garden at dawn, sitting on the stone bench beneath the old oak tree. Dew dampens her nightgown and bare feet, but she doesn't seem to notice the cold.
Her packed suitcases wait by the front door like silent accusations. "You're leaving before sunrise," Marcus says, settling beside her. "I can't do this anymore, Marcus. Pretending we're something we're not. What if we're not pretending?" Sarah laughs bitterly. "You're good at this game. I'll give you that. This isn't a game anymore. At least, not for me." The morning air carries the scent of roses from Sarah's small garden plot. Over the past 6 months, she's transformed a corner of his pristine landscape into something wild and beautiful. Something real. "I planted those roses for you," she says, following his gaze. "I know. I watched you from the office window. Then you know I planted them to last longer than our contract." The simple statement cuts deeper than any accusation could. Sarah planned for permanence, while he counted down days to freedom. Now the roles have reversed completely. "Sarah, I want to call off the bet and lose $2 million? Your friends would destroy you financially." Marcus takes her hands, ignoring how cold her fingers feel. "Let them. Money isn't everything," says the millionaire to the poor girl he married for sport. Says the man to the woman who changed his life. Sarah pulls her hands free and stands, brushing dew from her nightgown. The first rays of sunlight catch in her hair, turning brown strands to gold. She looks like something from a fairy tale in the garden she created. "I'm still leaving, Marcus. Contract or no contract. Then I'm coming with you." The words surprise them both. Marcus rises from the bench, his expensive pajamas inappropriate for garden conversations, but somehow fitting for this moment of truth. "What about your life here? Your business? Your reputation? What about them? This house is just walls and furniture. You are my home now." Sarah's tears fall freely as she shakes her head. "Don't say things like that. Not when it's too late. It's not too late. We still have 6 months on the contract. 6 months of you trying to convince me this is real. 6 months of me proving it's real." Marcus steps closer, close enough to see his reflection in her tear-bright eyes. "I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I've hurt you beyond measure, but I'm asking anyway. Why should I trust you? Because I'm giving up everything else to be with you. The bet, the money, the life I thought I wanted." Marcus cups her face gently. "Because I'd rather be poor with you than rich without you." Sarah closes her eyes, leaning into his touch despite herself. "The roses will die if no one tends them. Then we'll tend them together. Your friends will never accept this. Then they were never really friends." Sarah opens her eyes, searching his face for any hint of deception. Instead, she finds only love mixed with desperation and hope. "One condition," she whispers. "Anything. We start over. No contracts, no bets, no expiration dates." Marcus nods eagerly. "Just us. Just us." He kisses her then, soft and tentative at first, then deeper as she responds. The garden roses bloom around them like witnesses to their new beginning. Love can't be bought or bet upon, but it can grow in the most unlikely soil when tended with patience and truth.